Something will happen in your room tonight at 3:33 a.m. Archangel Michael sent a warning. Do not ignore this message. The night draws, and like a slow, silent tide, and every shadow seems to lean closer as the world holds its breath. The hours move with a weight you can almost feel, as if time itself is pressing against the walls of your room. Midnight will pass, but there is another hour that does not belong to sleep, an hour that does not belong to routine. At 3:33 a.m., the air will shift, and the silence will carry a vibration that few can discern. This hour is not random, not accidental. It is sacred, chosen, and inscribed in the calendar of heaven. Tonight, 3:33 a.m. is not merely a number on your clock. It is a signal, a hinge upon which destinies can swing. It is in this stillness that Archangel Michael, the mighty warrior of heaven, steps forth as the messenger of divine urgency. His presence does not enter quietly, but pierces through the veil, calling the spirit awake even as the body trembles. He does not appear for all. This visitation is not for the careless, not for those who mock the signs. It is for those whose souls have been stirring, for those who have been waiting for an answer, a shift, a sign that heaven has not forgotten them. If you are reading these words, know this: you are among the few being summoned. This night carries both danger and deliverance, for the realms are unsettled, and forces that linger in shadows will be confronted. But the confrontation is not without instruction. Tonight, you are called to prepare. Close your windows, quiet your lips, open your heart. Do not fill the room with noise, for silence is the throne upon which revelation descends. Watchfulness is required, stillness is demanded, for the atmosphere must be kept holy. And know this: what is coming into your room is not chaos without direction. It is a message written with names, sealed with divine protocol, and delivered with urgency. Do not ignore this warning. To ignore is to forfeit alignment. To receive is to invite covering. The heavens are leaning close tonight, and your room will be the meeting place. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Archangel Michael, stand now. Release your trumpet. Cut through the night with the sword of fire, with the voice of thunder, with the command of heaven that shakes both realms. Let the walls of darkness tremble, and let the sleepers hear that this hour is not like other hours. For by the next chiming of 3:33 a.m., the veil will thin, and the night will shift in its weight. You will not mistake it. You will not brush it off as a fleeting dream. The hour itself will announce that it has been marked. This is the invocation of the watch, the call of the chosen. Tonight is not about routine. It is about appointment. And heaven does not miss its appointment. You who hear these words, prepare yourself, for twilight is not empty. It is charged, it is hunting, it is waiting for you to notice. This is the moment when silence is alive, when stillness becomes electric, when the very air begins to speak. Do not think of this as coincidence. There is no coincidence in heaven's calendar. This is a summons. Archangel Michael does not come as a whisper of comfort only. He comes as a warrior bearing iron and mercy. He comes as the defender of your soul, the binder of chains, the one who crushes serpents beneath his command. His presence carries weight, and his authority stretches across generations, bound to promises made long before your birth. You may feel it as a cold draft moving through a sealed room. You may sense it as a sound like armor brushing against itself in the stillness. You may see it as a flash of blue-white light behind closed eyelids. These are not random occurrences. These are signals of his nearness. But this summons is not for every ear. Not every spirit is tuned to this frequency. This message comes to the chosen, those who have been marked by their yearning, those who have whispered prayers into the night when no one else could hear. You who sit in silence, you who have been misunderstood, you who have been waiting for clarity. You are the one heaven is singling out. Yet hear this truth. The weight of obedience is heavy. To listen is to align with heaven's plan. To ignore is to open the door to confusion. To allow shadows to scatter where light should have been. Tonight is a hinge. Your decision determines whether chains are broken or whether chains are tightened. You cannot treat this hour as ordinary, because it is not. This is more than warning. This is covenant. The Archangel does not arrive on his own authority, but on the warrant of the Most High. Heaven remembers the promises spoken over your bloodline. Heaven recalls the prayers of your ancestors. Heaven sees your name written in light, and Michael has been dispatched to defend what belongs to you. So, you who have been praying in whispers, you who rise in the night with tears that no one else sees, you who have been asking, Lord, do you hear me? This night is your answer. But answers require attention. Do not drift back into slumber when the moment arrives. Do not dismiss the signal. For once the clock turns and the digits align, 3:33, your room will no longer be an ordinary room. It will be the battleground and the sanctuary. Therefore listen. Listen with your spirit. Listen with your breath. Listen as if the night itself is waiting on your response. The summons has been sounded. The angel has drawn his sword. And heaven says to you now, obey. Watch. Stand still. For the hour approaches, and nothing will remain the same. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1414 is now activated. There are moments in life when the ground beneath you shifts, not with earthquakes, but with whispers. You begin to sense it in the smallest betrayals, in the subtle movements of people you once trusted. A door closes too quickly behind you. A laugh lingers a little too long in your absence. A message arrives at the wrong hour carrying the wrong tone. These are not accidents. They are signals. Signals that something hidden is pressing forward. Something that will not stay concealed much longer. Tonight, as the clock draws near to 3:33 a.m., that hidden thing begins to stir. Do you feel it already? The restlessness that kept you from sleeping deeply. The dream that looped over and over in your mind until you woke before your alarm, your heart pounding for no apparent reason. That was not chance. That was the sound of your spirit being called to attention, the tug of heaven warning you that eyes are watching. There are watchers in the corners, not just people, but spirits cataloging your steps, monitoring your choices, waiting for how you will respond when truth begins to surface. The betrayal of trust always begins softly. It starts in half smiles from allies who know more than they say. It shows up in the pause of someone's voice when you ask a direct question. It sneaks into the feeling that someone, somewhere, is carrying a secret that has your name written across it. And the truth is, they are. At 3:33 a.m., the secret begins to crack. The veil that hides it will thin. What has been whispered in silence will press to be shouted. Heaven allows this exposure not to destroy you, but to prepare you. Yet in this waiting hour, confusion swirls. Who smiles when you are not there? Who takes notes in the dark? Who has been speaking in rooms you have not entered? These questions pull at the edges of your mind. They fragment your peace. They stir old wounds. They make you doubt even those you once held closest. This is the design of disruption. Not to destroy you, but to reveal who stands with you when pressure mounts. Do not think it strange that your heart is unsettled. This is the signal of heaven preparing your spirit for revelation. That misplaced item you cannot explain, that message you forgot to reply to, but now keeps returning to your memory, that childhood fear that rises again when you walk a dimly lit hallway. These are not coincidences. They are pieces of a larger pattern forming around you. Tonight, that pattern reaches its turning point. And so you must be ready. For when the unseen begins to move into position, it will not announce itself with fanfare but with small, undeniable signs. The hour of 3:33 a.m. will act like a key in a lock, and what has been hidden will step into the light. Will you be caught off guard? Or will you stand watchful, ready, aligned with heaven's instruction? For the mystery is not meant to crush you. It is meant to awaken you. The disruption is not meant to scatter you. It is meant to focus you. The hour approaches when what was in the shadows will no longer remain there. Brace yourself. For the watchers are moving, the secrets are stirring, and the night is not as silent as it seems. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 is now surrounding you. And as you feel the weight of this revelation, I want to speak directly to your heart. This message is not only about you. It is about countless souls waiting to hear God's voice through moments like this. When you sow into this mission, you are not just giving. You are planting light into the soil of someone else's midnight hour. The word says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and right now, your giving becomes the oil that keeps this fire burning. I hear the Spirit saying, if you help carry the light, I will multiply it in your own house. This is not a suggestion. It is a prophetic invitation. Support through super thanks, membership, or by sowing directly through the PayPal link in the description. Every seed becomes a sword in the hand of heaven, every gift a shield around your family. Respond now, and may the Lord multiply your obedience as a harvest of covering, clarity, and breakthrough. The shaking you feel is not random, and the whispers that rattle your peace are not just human schemes. What you see playing out in words, glances, and shadows is the surface of something deeper. This is not merely gossip, betrayal, or misunderstanding. This is spiritual warfare. The struggle around you is not born in flesh, but in unseen realms, where forces contend for your future. Every sigh you have breathed, every tear you have shed, every prayer you whispered when you thought no one was listening, those have been recorded, and those have summoned heaven's attention. This conflict is not punishment. It is revelation. Heaven is allowing pressure to rise because pressure reveals character. Pressure reveals loyalty. Pressure reveals calling. Understand this. Attacks do not swarm around the stagnant. They target the rising, the chosen, the one marked for advancement. You have been marked, and that mark glows in the spiritual world like fire against the night. That is why confusion comes, why betrayal nips at your heels, why relationships wobble under strain, because the enemy seeks to disorient you before heaven promotes you. But hear this truth. The shaking is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to refine you. You are being sifted, not abandoned. You are being tested, not rejected. In this hour, your reactions carry weight. How you respond will determine what unfolds next. If rage takes the wheel, the enemy writes the script. If fear dictates your choices, chains grow tighter. But if you embrace stillness, if you anchor in watchfulness, then heaven takes the pen, and your next chapter is written with divine clarity. The kingdom operates on alignment, and alignment is secured in your response. This is why silence, though it feels weak, is actually warfare. This is why restraint, though it feels small, opens the gates of heaven on your behalf. Even now, angels are monitoring. Your name is spoken in heavenly courts. Your tears are weighed in golden bowls. Every move you make is observed, and every restraint you practice signals loyalty to the Most High. This is why Michael stands near, not to scare you, but to defend what belongs to you. The adversary seeks to provoke, to make you stumble, to force you into words and actions that will become snares. But heaven's strategy is different. It teaches you to hold, to stand, to let the fire of accusation burn itself out against your silence. Do not misinterpret what is happening. This pressure is not evidence of rejection. It is evidence of refinement. Heaven is proving you, shaping you, stretching you into the vessel required for the blessing prepared for you. And though the enemy presses to confuse, heaven watches with eyes of flame, whispering, "Do not break, do not fold, do not abandon." The test is not to expose your weakness, but to reveal your readiness. So, lift your head, even in the storm. Know that heaven watches, that your steps are known, that your endurance writes the script of your next season. This is not the end, it is the passageway. This is not punishment, it is positioning. How you respond tonight will open or close doors for the future. Choose wisely. Choose watchfully. Choose with the knowledge that heaven has already surrounded you. For the ledger of your life is not written by whispers in the dark, but by the hand of God. And tonight, at 3:33 a.m., that hand moves. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1818 is now active over your life. The night is not idle. It is not silent without purpose. Within the next 3 hours and 33 minutes of this midnight hinge, action will escalate. Even now, things are moving into place that cannot be reversed. The atmosphere is thickening, and every shift in the air is a sign of what is being arranged. By the hour of 3:33 a.m., the unseen will press itself against the seen, and what has been hidden will begin to stir at your very doorstep. There is a plotter, a presence arranging confrontation, a whisper stirring unrest. You may not know their face clearly, but you have felt their shadow. Their words have brushed past your name when you were not present. Their intention has grazed your peace when you tried to sleep. They do not appear openly yet, but their steps are already echoing closer. Their pressure builds like a storm tightening over a city. It is not yet broken, but you can smell the rain before it falls. Heaven does not leave you without signs. Watch carefully tonight, for the smallest details will speak loudly if you are attentive. The vibration on your table, a flicker of light in the corner of your eye, a dream that repeats with one strange symbol. These are warnings, confirmations, and alignments. They are not random. They are codes from heaven telling you, prepare, the hour is near. Do not dismiss these signs as coincidence, for the Spirit does not waste movement. What begins as whispers will not remain whispers. What is spoken in secrecy will soon press toward exposure. Secrets have a way of rotting when they are locked in silence too long, and at 3:33 a.m., silence will begin to crack. This is the escalation, the truth pressing to the surface, the pressure demanding illumination. What has been carefully concealed will find itself trembling in the light of revelation. But not all will be exposed at once. Some things will remain hidden, for timing is precise, and heaven does not reveal more than you are ready to hold. Yet what is revealed will be enough. Enough to change the atmosphere. Enough to shift relationships. Enough to redirect your trajectory. Imagine it like a corset tightening, squeezing until you can hardly breathe. Imagine mold swelling against a seam, ready to burst through the surface. The tension is no accident. It is a build-up meant to prepare you for release. The weight is heavy because heaven is pressing everything into alignment. And yet, one detail remains veiled. Heaven holds it back, keeping mystery intact, because revelation comes in waves, not floods. Too much at once would drown you. Too little would not awaken you. So heaven balances the scale, giving you just enough to awaken, just enough to protect, just enough to prepare. Therefore, brace yourself. Do not wait idly. Prepare inwardly. Guard your spirit. Steady your breath. Fix your gaze. For as the digits align and 3:33 marks itself upon your clock, what has been quiet will begin to shout, and what has been hidden will stir into the open. The warning has been sounded. The action is set in motion. The hour approaches, and your spirit must be awake. Type "I am prepared" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is now surrounding you. Be still now. Do not rush. Do not scramble. Do not let fear drive you to frantic action, for heaven does its greatest work when you refuse to fight in your own strength. Be still, says the Lord, and know that I am God. Stillness is not weakness, it is armor. It is a covering stronger than iron and heavier than stone, because when you choose stillness, you are declaring that the battle does not belong to you, but to the one who commands the hosts of heaven. Archangel Michael does not need your panic, he needs your posture. Your silence, your surrender, your refusal to engage in the noise. These are your shield and sword tonight. Practical steps have already been outlined by heaven, simple but profound. Whisper a prayer, not long, not complicated, but sharp and precise, like an arrow loosed into the night. A prayer that simply declares, I belong to the Most High. I am covered. I am not afraid. Stand with your palms open, for this gesture is a symbol of release, a sign that you do not hold on to fear, nor do you cling to control. In your quietness, let these words echo in your heart. Heaven fights for me. Heaven surrounds me. Heaven protects me. Do not flee the conflict, for flight is not your portion. Withdrawal is not weakness, it is strategy. Step back from the noise, but do not abandon your ground. Let others rage, let others accuse, let others twist. You stand in silence, anchored, unmoved. For silence is not absence. Silence is power. Silence converts accusation into clarity. Silence turns confusion into revelation. Every word left unsaid tonight becomes a wall that the enemy cannot breach. Michael's presence tonight is proof that you are not alone. Angels gather where stillness is honored. When you hold your tongue, when you guard your atmosphere, when you keep your room sacred, angelic warriors align themselves at your side. Do not be fooled by the stillness. It is the very command that summons heaven's army. The enemy thrives on reaction, but heaven thrives on restraint. Do not give the adversary your words. Do not give him your panic. Do not give him your energy. Give heaven your silence, and watch as chains shatter without you lifting a hand. Gratitude becomes your greatest weapon tonight. When confusion tries to scatter your thoughts, whisper thanks for what has already been rescued in your life. Remember past victories. Recall the nights you thought you would not survive, yet here you stand. Call those angels by name. Michael, defender of the covenant. Gabriel, messenger of light. Raphael, healer of wounds. For when you acknowledge heaven's allies, you align yourself with heaven's order. And hear this reassurance. Protection is not being arranged tonight. It has already been arranged. You are not waiting for covering to arrive. Covering is already in place. The instructions given to you are not to manufacture safety, but to align with it. Heaven's shield has been extended, but your obedience determines whether you stand beneath its canopy. So remain still. Stay quiet. Keep your heart open. Keep your atmosphere guarded. The battle belongs to heaven, and the covering is yours. Fear will come knocking, but do not answer. Doubt will whisper, but do not reply. For at 3:33 a.m., the sword of Michael will strike in your defense, and you will see that silence was your greatest warfare. Type "I am protected by heaven" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 has now been released over your life. You have endured the trembling of the night. You have tasted the weight of silence. You have stood still while heaven fought battles unseen. And now, the atmosphere begins to turn. This is the shift, the holy transition, when the posture of defense becomes the mantle of empowerment. You are not the same as you were yesterday, and you are not who they believe you to be. The fire you walked through has refined you. The silence you held has strengthened you. The stillness you chose has carved out a throne for authority in your spirit. Hear this truth. You are no longer a victim. You are not defined by what they whispered, by what they plotted, by what they hid in the shadows. You are not the broken one. You are not the overlooked one. You are not the forgotten one. You are the chosen one, the one who rises with new identity stamped upon your soul. What once made you feel small now becomes the very thing that announces your greatness. You rise with wings of strength, unfolding in brilliance, unseen by those who tried to diminish you. Empowerment is not loud at first. It begins in the small victories. You held your tongue when anger wanted to speak, and that silence was a triumph. You resisted fear when nightmares tried to swallow you, and that stillness was a battle won. You refused to abandon your faith when doubt pressed against you, and that was your coronation. Each decision, each act of restraint, each whispered prayer, these were not wasted moments. They were bricks laid into a foundation that now supports your rising. Picture yourself in the fire. Flames swirl, sparks leap, but instead of consuming you, they refine you. They strip away the dust, the weight, the lies, until what remains is pure, unshakable, radiant. Now picture yourself in flight, no longer bound to the ground by the heaviness of fear. You ascend. Wings stretch, gaze lifts, and the chains that once tethered you break loose into nothingness. Fire and flight, refinement and rising, these are the twin forces shaping you tonight. But empowerment is not arrogance. Power without humility collapses under its own weight. Remember this. The strength heaven gives is not for boasting but for stewarding. You are lifted so that you may lift others. You are refined so that you may carry light into places where others still stumble in shadows. Empowerment is responsibility, not indulgence. Heaven trusts you with this strength because heaven has tested you in weakness. Now the time comes for decisive faith steps. Not grand gestures, but small, holy signals of readiness. Speak your purpose aloud, even if only in the stillness of your room. Set a boundary with quiet authority, marking the line where darkness may no longer trespass. Name your scars, not as reminders of pain, but as compasses pointing you toward destiny. The door that shut in your face yesterday becomes the portal heaven will open tomorrow. Every rejection now transforms into redirection. So rise, beloved. Lift your head, for empowerment has been granted. Strength has been poured out. Authority has been sealed upon you. The trials that threatened to break you have become the very proof that you were unbreakable. You are no longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer bound. Heaven says, receive the mantle. Walk in the power. Step into the authority. This is your hour. This is your rising. This is your empowerment. Type I am empowered in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2121 is now alive in your spirit. The pressure you have endured was not random, and the silence you carried was not empty. Everything you faced was permitted by heaven for a higher purpose. What felt like loss was a clearing. What felt like delay was preparation. What felt like abandonment was actually positioning. Tonight, in the appointed hour of 3:33 a.m., the veil parts and revelation pours forth. This is the unveiling of divine strategy, the moment when you realize why the darkness was allowed to come so close. It was never to destroy you. It was to elevate you. Hear me, this testing was a sifting. Heaven was removing what could not remain, separating what could not ascend with you. People fell away not because you failed them, but because they could not survive in the atmosphere you are rising into. Confusion pressed against your mind not to unravel you, but to sharpen your discernment. Even betrayal had purpose. It exposed the difference between those who stand beside you and those who only stood near you. Out of this fire comes a remnant, and you are part of it. Out of this sifting comes clarity, and clarity is the gift of this hour. Behind the conflict, blessings were being arranged. Behind the warfare, anointing was being pressed into your spirit. Behind the silence, new assignments were written with your name. Tonight, promises long delayed begin to stir. Clarity that once felt unreachable begins to open like a dawn over your spirit. Favor waits like a crown, poised above your head. This is not imagination. It is revelation. Archangel Michael does not descend without decree, and his very presence tonight signals deliverance, unlocking, and destiny. Pay attention to the symbols heaven sends, for they are confirmation of what is unfolding. Some will dream of a key. This is access, doors opening that were once sealed. Others will see a stair. This is ascension, your spirit rising to higher ground. Some may glimpse a scroll. This is instruction, heaven's blueprint for your next season. These are not random images. They are prophetic signs, personal messages crafted to awaken you to your appointed place. And this is not distant. It is intimate. Heaven does not release generic promises. It speaks your name. It knows your voice. It weighs your sighs. It counts your tears. You are not lost in the crowd. You are singled out. Revelation is not a blanket over all humanity. It is a letter with your name etched in light. Tonight, that letter is opened, and the words written inside declare, you are chosen, you are covered, you are rising. So receive it. Do not doubt it. Do not dismiss it. Do not let your fear convince you that it was coincidence. This revelation is living. It is breathing. It is unfolding in your very atmosphere. It carries weight, and it demands faith. For what heaven reveals, heaven empowers. And what heaven empowers, heaven brings to pass. This is the prophetic charge. Take the revelation seriously. Let it settle into your bones. Let it ignite your spirit. Heaven has spoken. Now line your steps. Now claim your portion. Now walketh the one who knows that deliverance has come. Type I receive in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2323 is now activated over you. And as this prophetic revelation unfolds, I must remind you of this truth. Revelation must be carried, and the word must continue to flow to every soul waiting in silence. This channel is not just words. It is a stream of living water poured into dry places. When you sow into this mission, you are not funding a platform. You are fueling a harvest of souls who will hear God's voice at their own midnight hour. The Spirit declares, as you release, I will release. As you pour, I will pour back upon you. Your support, whether through super thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, is not a donation, it is a prophetic act. It becomes a seed planted in the soil of heaven's timeline. And I prophesy this over you. Every seed will return as protection for your household, clarity for your journey, and favor that no man can cancel. Act now, and step into the river of blessing. Revelation without action is like a seed left on stone. It carries life, but it bears no harvest. What heaven has unveiled to you in this hour demands response. This is not a time to drift back into old patterns or to dismiss what was spoken in your spirit. At 3:33 a.m., destiny is not only revealed, it is activated. And activation requires movement, even if that movement feels small. For every yes you give in faith, heaven answers with a greater yes that unfolds your next chapter. Alignment and obedience are the currency of destiny, and tonight, they are being called forth from you. Do not underestimate the power of small steps. You may think destiny requires grand gestures, but heaven delights in the simple act of agreement. Speak your purpose aloud, even in the quiet of your room. Let the walls hear it. Let the air record it. Let the spirit realm bear witness. Write a single declaration, a sentence that becomes a seed planted into your own future. Protect your time in the coming days. Set aside moments of listening, moments of silence, moments where heaven can continue to pour instruction into your heart. These are not rituals of religion. They are signals of readiness. Every action you take in obedience declares, I am prepared to walk in the calling set before me. Destiny is not meant to be carried alone. Even now, heaven stirs you to recognize one safe person, one ally of faith, who can stand with you in prayer or testimony. This is not about the crowd, it is about covenant. Two standing in agreement carry the weight of heaven's multiplication. Share your revelation carefully. Share it wisely, but share it. For when your destiny is spoken in faith, it becomes anchored in reality. Each humble act is not isolated, it builds. Like stones stacked into an altar, your obedience creates a platform where heaven descends. The throne room responds not to titles, not to noise, but to alignment. Every yes you whisper, every line you write, every boundary you set becomes part of the construction of your future. This is the building of destiny, not sudden, chaotic leaps, but steady, holy alignment. Heaven waits for your yes. The angels lean in, listening for your agreement. The Spirit whispers, nudging you forward. Do not hesitate. Do not second guess. Do not dismiss the weight of this moment. Your activation is not distant. It is immediate. As soon as you align, as soon as you act, as soon as you step, doors will begin to respond. Relationships will begin to shift. Opportunities will begin to unfold. Declare it with boldness. My destiny is awake. My path is opening. My spirit is aligned. Say it when you rise. Say it when you sleep. Let it echo until doubt no longer finds a place to settle. For repetition is not empty. It is a hammer breaking the stones of unbelief. It is a trumpet announcing your future. This is your call to forward motion. Not reactive retreat, not passive waiting, but decisive alignment. Heaven has revealed, and now heaven activates. The only question that remains is whether your voice will echo back with a resounding yes. Type ISAYYS in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2424 is now released into your path. As the night deepens and human eyes surrender to sleep, another realm stirs with unrelenting activity. You may think the world is still, but heaven is not. While you lie in silence, the spirit realm roars with movement, transactions, and negotiations that determine the unfolding of your days. There is a silent exchange taking place even now, one that cannot be seen with human eyes, but can be discerned by awakened hearts. This exchange is the reclaiming of what was stolen, the itemizing of losses, the preparation of restoration. Archangel Michael and his hosts move through the courts of heaven, and your name is on their lips. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night, every moment you whispered prayers into the air, all of it has been gathered like currency. None of it was wasted. Heaven is now weighing those tears, recording those cries, and presenting them as testimony in your defense. The adversary may have sought to steal, to devour, to fracture, but heaven is not silent. Heaven speaks. Heaven records. Heaven returns. Picture the exchange. Ledgers are open, losses tallied, grievances noted. What the enemy snatched in secret is now laid bare before the throne. What you thought was gone forever is being written into a list of returns. Angels move like scribes, recording every detail of injustice. Heavenly advocates rise to declare, this one belongs to the Most High. Restitution must be made. And in that silent chamber, decrees are signed, judgments are sealed, and orders are dispatched. What was stolen is prepared for return. This exchange does not sound like noise. It feels like stillness. But if your spirit listens, you can sense it, a weight, a hush, a vibration that carries more meaning than 1,000 voices. Heaven works in silence because silence protects the sacred. While you sleep, things are shifting. While you rest, names are being spoken. While you dream, chains are breaking in unseen runes. Signs of this exchange will bleed into your world. A dream where you are given something unexpected. A key, a letter, a gift. A sudden message that arrives when you least expect it, carrying clarity you did not seek. A door that opens with no effort on your part, a reconciliation that blossoms out of nowhere. These are not random. They are receipts of the exchange, confirmations that heaven's ledger is not theory but reality. You must remain receptive. When what was taken returns, do not greet it with suspicion. Do not question whether you are worthy of it. Receive it with thanksgiving, for gratitude seals the blessing. Gratitude is the signature that acknowledges heaven's delivery. What comes back to you may not always look exactly as it once was, but it will be multiplied, matured, and measured in heaven's perfection. Rest tonight with assurance. For even as you sleep, heaven does not slumber. The ledger is being balanced, the exchange is being processed, and the story is being rewritten. What felt final is being reversed. What felt lost is being recovered. Even now, angels whisper over you, it is not over. It is not gone. It is coming back. The silent exchange is happening. Trust it. Receive it. Believe it. Type I receive my return in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2525 is now activated over your life. The hour of reversal has come. What the enemy schemed against you is turning, not by your hand, not by your strategy, but by divine decree. Spiritual justice is moving like a river, flowing from the throne of God, carrying recompense, carrying restoration, carrying the authority of heaven to undo what darkness designed. You must understand this. Justice in the spirit is not mere human fairness. It is not revenge. It is not retaliation. It is the restoration of heavenly order. When heaven decrees reversal, everything the enemy meant to shame you becomes your testimony. Everything that was taken is multiplied back, and every chain forged against you is shattered before your eyes. The adversary wanted you silenced. He plotted to turn your voice into an echo of despair. Yet the very tears you cried became petitions, and those petitions rose like smoke into the courts of heaven. The accusations that were whispered about you are now being overturned by angelic witnesses who testify on your behalf. For justice in heaven does not simply defend. It restores, it elevates, it vindicates. The one who was mocked becomes the one who carries authority. The one who was pushed aside becomes the one who stands in the center of God's promise. Restitution is already in motion. Blessings are being weighed out, measured not according to human limits, but according to heaven's abundance. Some will return as opportunities, doors once sealed now swinging wide. Others will come as new relationships, holy alignments, ordained for your next season. Still others will manifest as peace in your mind, healing in your body, or strength in your spirit. This is not imagination. It is reversal. It is the fulfillment of the decree that declares, what was meant for evil is now turning for good. But take heed, justice does not smile on the proud. Those who schemed, those who twisted, those who thought they triumphed will see their own traps collapse upon them. Not because you wished it, not because you plotted it, but because heaven decreed it. Divine reversal carries no bitterness, only holy balance. What was taken unjustly must be returned. What was spoken falsely must be exposed. What was stolen in shadows must be revealed in light. Do not measure justice only in material gain. True reversal heals the inside as much as the outside. It closes wounds that festered for years. It restores dignity where shame once lingered. It breathes peace where torment once reigned. This justice is comprehensive, total, undeniable. It leaves no scar unhealed, no loss unaccounted for, no word of truth unanswered. Look to the patterns. There have been countless testimonies before you, men and women who thought they had been destroyed, only to watch heaven raise them higher than they ever imagined. Joseph betrayed, yet lifted. Daniel accused, yet vindicated. Esther targeted, yet crowned. This pattern repeats, and now your name is written into its lineage. Your story will not end in shame. It will end in glory. So stand in expectation. Justice is not coming someday. It is unfolding now. Reversal is not a hope, it is a decree. What you thought was the conclusion is only the turning point. Heaven has spoken, and heaven cannot lie. The scales are balanced, the verdict has been declared, the reversal is already underway. Type Divine Reversal in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2626 is now sealing your testimony. The message has been delivered. The warning has been sounded. The hour of 3:33 a.m. will not pass like any other night. You have been instructed to remain still, to remain silent, to guard your atmosphere, and to allow heaven to fight for you. You have been reminded that disruption is not destruction. It is awakening. You have been shown that pressure is not punishment. It is positioning. And now, as this word closes, you stand in the center of a divine promise. Protection, restoration, and destiny. Hear the blessing of heaven over you now. You are covered by the sword and shield of Archangel Michael. You are sealed by the authority of the Most High. You are watched, defended, and carried into the dawn of a new season. No plot against you shall stand. No whisper against your name shall prevail. No scheme against your destiny shall succeed. You have been weighed in the courts of heaven, and heaven has declared you chosen. Let this prayer settle into your spirit. Lord, anchor me in stillness. Guard my heart in silence. Surround my home with your angels. Let clarity meet me at 3:33 a.m., and let favor follow me into tomorrow. Seal me under your covering and awaken me to the blessings already prepared. Now hear the final declaration. You are sealed, you are seen, and you are sent. Nothing will undo what heaven has decreed. You will rise from this night with clarity. You will walk forward with empowerment. You will carry testimony into every place that once held shame. Sleep with faith tonight, for heaven does not sleep. Rest with peace, for heaven stands guard. The night will work for your good. Keep your heart open. Watch for the signs. Give thanks in advance, for gratitude is the key that unlocks tomorrow's gates. You are chosen, you are covered, and you are rising. Type Amen in the comments if you receive this final blessing. Blessing code 333 is now sealing your night. Before we close completely, I must tell you this. The word that reached you tonight is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow through you into the lives of countless others who sit awake in their midnight hours, waiting for a voice from heaven. When you sow into this mission, you become that voice for someone else. The Spirit says, as you pour out, I will pour in. As you give into my work, I will open the windows of heaven over your life. This is not donation, it is prophetic alignment. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you can take part in carrying God's light to the places it is most needed. And as you do, I bless your seed. May it return to you as breakthrough. May it guard your household, and may it multiply as rivers of favor in your life. Act now. Step into obedience, and let your giving echo as worship before the throne of God.